Hello everyone and welcome to week 6 of English 1510. Got a couple of quick announcements that are sort of overview pieces. One, I posted this up on a note. I am finalizing all memoir grades for the 1510s. A couple of classes are already done. I think I just have one where I have 7 or 8 of yours to sort of fix some of the things in post. Most are already up. Once all final draft grades are posted, a memoir rewrite Dropbox will open for any students wishing to complete that rewrite. All students will have 2 weeks from that date that it opens to complete the rewrite. I'd say by Wednesday this week I'll open that Dropbox, and that'll give you guys 2 weeks to do a rewrite for those of you who want to. For the upcoming overlap between rhetorical analysis, final draft, and argumentation, that's not this weekend, that's the weekend following. You're going to have, I adjusted the date, so if we're looking at that actual posting, that's week 7, starting next Monday through the following Sunday. Final draft of rhetorical analysis will be due on the Sunday at the 13th, and then argumentation, summary, and working thesis the next day on Monday. That'll give you a buffer between the two to read through some of that and go over the content so you're not stuffing it into one day on submission. I know it's not a great deal of distance, but I can't give much more than that and keep with our 12-week schedule timeline. The basics on these with the feedback on these files, I want to reiterate for students who did just get your final draft report and everything else posted on there, the audio should all be fixed, and on the summary outlines I did go back and try and repost or just redo the feedback on those for the ones where the audio sounded garbled or just completely wouldn't play for you. That should be all sorted out. The ones that didn't have those, where you didn't have the summary outline posted beforehand, I took that into consideration when doing final grading on the memoir final draft. And I didn't take further points away for things that I would have addressed on a summary outline, like the structure, like the general to specific intro and structure and things like that. Now, on the draft, I did take points away for the basics, like MLA formatting, which some students, for whatever reason, are still having an issue just following basic directions on these things. 2 primary categories of errors that were prevalent in about half the students' papers. Sentence level issues that you definitely need to be addressing with tutoring were prevalent, like I said, about half the papers. Other thing, MLA formatting, just the very basics that are in your textbook or in the Dropboxes. I gave templates. There's instructional link stuff down here, MLA basics. I mean, you have a number of different things that are provided. And MLA format is pretty standard by about 9th grade, 10th grade at the latest usually. Now, I don't see us getting anywhere near APA this term, particularly with some of the difficulties some students are having with MLA. But at the outset here, when we're getting into revisions, I want to remind everyone, we have the Academic Support Center that offers free tutoring with these. If you are one of my students who's already had tutoring recommended to you, start making use of that. Everyone is required to attend 1 session per semester. They have online and face-to-face. There's also the net tutoring services right here. I don't work with them, so I don't usually recommend it. But the Academic Support Center, those are people that are actually at your campuses who do both face-to-face sessions and online sessions. As far as I recall, all students are allowed 2 half-hour sessions per week if they want to use them. And some students in these classes certainly could use the aid of a tutor to go over and help you get another set of eyes on those, proofreading while you're revising. It is one thing to have summary outline feedback from an instructor to know that you're getting the right content in there, and then peer review information from classmates on draft submissions, which again, on the discussions, I have 4 or 5 students in each class not participating at all. Just note, we're at halfway mark now. For those of you who have bowed out and have been doing little to nothing in that regard, it's not going to look good near the end of the semester. But the Academic Support Center provides that proofreading and overview when you're doing those revisions. It's an extra set of eyes before you do a revision in the draft before any type of submission. So remember that that is provided to you guys so that you do have the support you need for those of you who have issues in writing that you are not necessarily addressed in a course like this. If you need sentence level grammar, punctuation, mechanics, and all that type of instruction, that's in the area of 1055 and English 1060, which are slightly below this. And you need to note that the focal point of a course like this is to look at content, not grammar, mechanics, those types of things that would be through your compulsory K-12 education. I will, and I did, mark a great deal of that on memoir drafts, but it's not going to be what I mark through all of them. But I will take points away if readability is poor because of your grammar, mechanics, style, punctuation, etc. So make note of those, folks. On those files, on memoir at least, I addressed every single thing that I could find that was wrong. And again, I didn't take additional points away for structural things and stuff like that that would have been marked on a summary outline for those of you that didn't have that posted up. But I did take some points away for structural things, and I marked if there were excessive errors and made recommendations for tutoring further. The week 6 objective itself, this week you're coming up on drafting. Now, as I said, the summary, the memoir feedback stuff should all be up then, no later than Wednesday with that posting on theirs, and it was just dealing with audio files. So some of you actually had it posted up and just couldn't hear the audio. I reposted the majority of those as well. But the rhetorical analysis rough draft will be this week, just like we did with the memoir. You'll post the rhetorical analysis into the Dropbox by 11:30. Also put a copy and pasted version into the discussion board. Following that, you have the remainder of the following week up through Thursday to get your classmate, at least one classmate, your overview feedback on there, commenting on what they've done with their drafting stage. That discussion board for posting and commentary will be opening this I'll probably open it later in the week, but no later than by the time you're posting drafts for these, so probably Saturday or Sunday on those. There were a couple of changes I wanted to make to that file, but it should be no later than the actual date that you're going towards this assignment. We're a week ahead of them right now. Another thing that comes up that's new here is videos. This week you have 2 of them that are assigned up here in the content folder. You're going through and you are selecting research, MLA citations, and argumentation videos. And this week you are assigned these first 2, getting to know your library, your OCC library, and web search versus research. Remember, when we move through rhetorical analysis and get to argumentation, everything students use for the research must be a peer-reviewed source from an OCC database, which is why we begin with getting to know your OCC library. There is nothing you're pulling from the web on your own. There is not a question or a request to make of me. Every topic that I will approve will come from the list that I've already provided in the Dropbox. If you do have something unique, you can certainly message me up top with the envelope at the top of the page here. It's the instant messaging in the course. And as of now, folks, I prefer this over the emails. It's getting to the point where some students just hit responses to other emails that I sent, and you're just buried in threads. Not to mention there's a large volume of emails, typically nowadays anyways, but certainly around midterms and finals. So messaging me up here is a quicker way to get contact usually now. But the second week, the week 7, will be these 2 instructional videos here. This week 6. These first 2, week 7, these second 2. On this, week 7, these ones on the how to find articles and MLA citations. When we get through rhetorical analysis, you'll be working on those pieces for argument. And remember, you have, in addition to the Academic Support Center for tutoring and things, you also have a link here for library. So if you are a student who, let's say, selects something like climate change as a topic, this is going to do a general search to start. What you want to do to make sure that you're in qualified research that will be acceptable will be to select peer-reviewed journals and select full text. We'll apply those as filters as a starting point. And then for this as a topic, probably best to whittle this down to something closer to the current day and see what we get for results. We still end up with a good amount of articles, 377,000 and change, reviews 4,300, 2,900 books, conference proceedings, audio visual. Got a number of things here, but in this setup, when you get to those guys, remember you got not only everything you need for research right through your databases, you also have your citation functions right here. We already selected 8th edition of MLA. This includes everything that should be here, including the DOI, Digital Object Identifier, so that lets me find exactly the source that you were on in the exact condition that you found it, meaning if it's been edited since then again, it will show it will show what you read as opposed to what's represented there now, in case there were any changes that are inconsistent with what you used as a quote or a point of support. So these can be copied. You can copy these through clipboard, or you can do just a left select, copy and paste, and put these right into your papers. If you've pre-selected to default your formatting in your Word document to Microsoft Word to Times New Roman 12-point font, if you just add text only, it'll format to yours, and then you can just reformat the indent if you don't have that set already. Just remember that they're alphabetical order in accordance with the first letter here, and every line after the first in a citation will be a hanging indent. We'll cover more of that again as we get closer to argumentation. For this week, you're doing rhetorical analysis rough draft. Now, I should have summary outlines of these, the feedback on those, posted while you guys are drafting. So certainly before you're working on final draft stage of these, everyone should have those. The main objective here for the draft, you got 750 words, and I really don't increase that for the base requirement on the final, but most of you will have closer to 1,000, maybe 1,200. The paper must follow the same layout requirements as the outline, a 5-paragraph structure. Outline includes intro, 3 bodies, and a conclusion. The intro should follow the general to specific framing. That means you will start with a general comment, about the commercial, the category your commercial will be in, and then give a specific example that's not your commercial, but representative of the same category, followed by the your topic section that gives the actual category for yours, right? So in those, remember with that framing, just like you did on the outline, that's how you base those. You're going to have excuse me. The intro should end in a thesis claim that names the argument along with the rhetorical devices employed to make the argument. There should be a clear topic sentence at the opening of each body, introducing each rhetorical device, and the body should have supporting details that offer examples and explanations of those devices and their intended appeals for the audience. You must have one direct quote. The rough and final draft of this essay must include a quote. The rough and final papers, one direct quote from the video. Remember that means you're going to have a works cited page for this piece. The quote must be followed in an in-text citation. There must be a works cited page, and all you're doing is typically just citing the YouTube video. You can do this through NightCite or EasyBib. I don't mind if you guys format your citation through something like that. That is not a bother. Actually, it's a nice time-saving tool to have around. The quote can be the intro to establish context. It could be in your intro paragraph if you want to get that out of the way right at the bat, establish the context. In a body as a point of support, or in the conclusion as a final evaluation of the ad's effectiveness. That is completely up to you. The quote must be in MLA format, in in-text citation. The formatting information was in chapter 27 and 28, second and third editions. It was 26 and 27 in the fourth. Fourth edition, 27, 28, 26, and 27 in the second and third. This is a slight caveat to make sure that students are meeting the semester requirements. And then remember, this is all third person. The memoir was supposed to be first and third, with no use of second person, and certainly no use of announcements and those kinds of statements. Now you're third person only, so no I, no you. Okay? I look forward to seeing them. All the other documents are reiterated in here, reposted if you need them. Look